Now I'd like to request our Chief Guest ma'am to kindly give an address to the whole audience. Thank you, Dr. Dhakate, for too elaborate an introduction about me. I really do not know whether I really deserve this. But I would like to say, before I actually formally begin speaking, I would like to say that Director Venugopal is my alma mater. We both belong to University of Hyderabad. He did his physics and I did my mathematics, though he's much younger than me. So anyway, so Professor Venugopal, Director, Dr. Sanjay Dhakate, Dr. Singh, scientists from NPL, various participants. It gave me a great honor to be part of the 81st celebrations of the CSIR Foundation Day. I'm really honored to be part of this. So, the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research has been elaborated, as has been elaborated by the speaker earlier to me, was established way back in 1942 in the British era, and it's among the world's largest public funded R&D organization and has a pan-India presence with a network of 37 state-of-the-art national laboratories and 39 outreach centers. Now, from space physics to oceanography, earth sciences to geography, chemicals to drugs and pharmaceuticals, genomics to biotechnology, you name it all, CSIR has it all. So CSIR's role in R&D in the areas of aeronautics, energy, instrumentation, environmental engineering, food and food processing, information technology, mining, metal, minerals are well acknowledged and recognized. CSIR has made scientific and technological interventions in several areas of societal relevance like environment, health, drinking water, food, housing, energy, and farm and non-farm sectors, and these are well received. So the human resources developed and nurtured by CSIR has contributed significantly towards meeting our country's scientific and technological aspirations. Today, CSIR is undertaking globally competitive and highly regarded research in several important areas such as mobile telecommunications, telephony, jet engines, and new propulsion systems, computer operating systems, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, renewable energy, and many others. So I feel extremely honored to participate in the 81st Foundation Day of CSIR and be part of these celebrations. The National Physical Laboratory is the founding lab of CSIR, established in 1947. Today, NPL is considered as one of the prestigious labs of the country, and during the journey of 75 years, NPL has established itself as a premier R&D establishment for primarily measurement standards along with materials, radio science, and many other scientific areas. Known as a National Metrology Institute, NPL is a custodian of national standards and has been focusing in R&D activities on realization, establishment, custody, maintenance, reproduction, and updating of the national standards of weights and measures as per the International System of Units. As was mentioned by Dr. Dhakate, I am a meteorologist by profession and a mathematician by qualification. So when I joined NCMRW, that is the National Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasting, way back in 1990, as a young researcher, I was often asked, what is your field of work? And when I mentioned that I am a meteorologist, people used to ask, meteorology? I said, no, meteorologist. And after a few attempts, I was to just give up. And I said, I'm in atmospheric science. So what I want to say that meteorology was known for the measurements even at that time. People did not know meteorology. Even though India Meteorology Department is a much senior organization compared to NPL, but is known more as the Mausam Bhavan rather than the Indian Meteorological Department. Now, apart from being the premier research laboratory in the area of physical sciences, NPL has been playing a key role in the country's initiatives in cutting-edge research and manpower training in the emerging areas of physical science, metrology, and other allied subject streams. NPL, owing to its untiring efforts in the establishment, development, and maintenance of primary standards and its derivatives and their dissemination, has occupied a pivotal position in the world, in the country, and it is giving measurement traceability to more than 4,000 customers in India as well as the SAARC nation. This is commendable. We all have grown up seeing the indelible ink on our forefingers. I remember at the age of 18 when I first time voted, I was so proud of the ink that was displayed on my forefingers. And
I was happy that I'm able to vote. I've reached the age, and I never knew that down the line, maybe after several years, I'll be addressing the scientists of the very institute that developed this thing. This calls for a loud applause. Now, the ink developed by NPL almost 70 years back is still a pride of India and is also being used over 25 nations across the globe. The advanced security ink to curb the counterfeiting of bank checks is another recent landmark contribution made by NPL in the field of magnetic materials. Now, when we talk about the net zero commitments that India has made, where India has committed that 50% of its electricity demands will be met from the renewable, that is 500 gigawatts from renewable energy, out of which almost 450 gigawatts expected from solar and wind energy. And I think the contribution of wind is around 150 gigawatts. So though the share of wind energy is less, but it has a significant share in the renewable sector. Harnessing power from the wind is one of the cleanest and most sustainable ways to generate electricity, as it produces no toxic pollution or global warming emissions. Wind is also abundant, inexhaustible and affordable, which makes it a viable and large-scale alternative to fossil fuels. However, one of the major challenges is the noise produced by the wind turbines. Hence, NPL can play a major role. NPL is actively involved in developing national standards facilities for calibration of sound intensity. Along with Central Pollution Control Board and the State Pollution Control Boards, NPL is working to map the noise levels of cities. So, taking a cue from this, I would urge NPL to also undertake studies to minimize the noise created by wind turbines. Now, coming to the solar energy, NPL has showcased the utility of solar energy as a clean, renewable energy way back in 1950. However, it was much later when it became a reality, when the use of semiconductors as photovoltaic cells to convert solar energy to electricity was started. The National Facility for Primary Solar Cell Calibration set up at NPL is another step towards Atmanirbhar Bharat. And in the absence of a dedicated facility for the validation of solar cell efficiency, India has been depending on laboratories overseas and spending a lot of money, which is actually very expensive and time consuming. Today, a lot of R&D work is being undertaken to prove that perovskite solar cells are commercially viable. Though halide perovskites have shown potential for high performance and low production costs in solar cells, yet the challenge lies in the short and long-term stability. Recently, scientists from the International Advanced Research Center for Powder Metrology and New Materials, an autonomous institute under the Department of Science and Technology, have devised a new process for increasing the efficiency and stability of titanium dioxide nanorods based on perovskite solar cells. So this will help in achieving the stability. NPL can take again the lead in developing standards for the major critical components and materials being used in the perovskite solar cells to see its efficiency. Now, when we talk about clean energy, we cannot miss hydrogen. Prime Minister Modi's words are that green hydrogen will be India's biggest goal for providing a quantum jump to address climate change. The other day, I was just mentioning to the director also, we had a detailed presentation from NCL on CSIR's hydrogen technology program, which started way back in 2002. So what I want to emphasize is CSIR envisioned the role of hydrogen as a source of clean energy 20 years back. That is the potential that the labs of CSIR have. So due to its high energy content, hydrogen is being used for energy application with suitable fuel cells. However, there are several challenges related to materials, electrolytes, storage, safety and standards. Solid oxide fuel cell is one of the fuel cells which has an edge over other fuel cells, as it has the ability to use not only hydrogen but also the currently available fossil fuels such as methane, butane or even gasoline and diesel, thus reducing operating costs and flexibility. So development of full technology stack for solid oxide fuel cell along with the specification of major critical components and materials such as the membrane, platinum or carbon etc. is being considered. Here again I see that NPL can play a major role in developing standards for these materials if not already started. Our country is steadily and slowly marching towards showcasing India's technological leadership in areas of strategic importance and economic self-reliance. One such program is the development of sustainable semiconductor and display ecosystems in the country with an outlay of rupees 76,000 crores announced recently. There is a small component of R&D also under this mission. The program will extend incentives to companies, consortia that are engaged in silicon semiconductor fabs, display fabs, compound semiconductors, silicon photonics, sensor fabs, semiconductor packaging and semiconductor design. As you all are aware, in semiconductor manufacturing, the performance of metrology equipment directly impacts yield. Fabs and equipment suppliers depend on calibration standards to ensure that their metrology results are within tolerance and to maintain their ISO and QS quality certification. For example, development of indigenous technology for production of monocrystalline silicon and the wafers, glass substrate etc. for silicon and display fabs in India is underway. And NPL should develop standards to ensure reliable and transferable calibration for fabs. We have known about quantum mechanics since the mid of 1920s. From cell phones to supercomputers, DVDs to PDFs, quantum physics fueled the present-day electronic-based economy, transforming commerce, communication and entertainment. Today we are at the helm of a second quantum revolution, which mainly focuses on quantum technologies, but it's still a work in progress. Quantum technologies promise to improve the way we do various things, from trading over the internet to performing powerful simulations for chemistry and even engineering nanotechnology. There's a huge worldwide effort underway to demonstrate that the computational capabilities of technologies based on quantum mechanics can exceed those of conventional systems. With businesses and research institutes from Europe, United States, China, Japan, Australia and Singapore all active in this area. India is soon going to join this elite group with the launch of the quantum mission. As you all know, the quantum mission, which has 4 components: quantum communication, quantum computing, quantum sensing and metrology, and lastly quantum materials and devices, will be led by DST, and Department of Space, MATI, Department of Telecom, DRDO and DAE are major collaborators. However, I feel NPL as a CSIR lab has a major role to play, especially in sensing and metrology sectors. I'm happy to note that NPL is already working extensively on quantum metrology aligned with the rapid technological advancements and redefinition of SI units in 2019. Cesium Fountain Primary Frequency Standard is the first quantum standard indigenously developed in India, a feat achieved by only 10 nations so far. NPL is pursuing R&D in next generation quantum standards for mass, temperature, current and time. However, the quantum journey in India has just begun, and NPL will have several challenging roles to play in this evolving field. Now, being an atmospheric scientist, I cannot stay away from mentioning the contribution NPL has played in the field of atmospheric science, especially in the domain of atmospheric pollution and biomedical metrology. NPL has been designated as a certification agency for air pollution monitoring equipment by MOEF and CC in 2018. I understand that a group of NPL is actively working to establish a testing and calibration facility for various automated air monitoring systems, especially for continuous emission monitoring systems and continuous ambient air quality monitoring systems, which will be a new national facility to provide certification. This is commendable because all these years we have been dependent on the West for the calibrations. This will also help in removing the major barrier in ensuring the quality of environmental monitoring data and from various sources. This will also make our data robust with stringent quality control and quality assurance compliance in place. Now, in view of our net zero commitments by 2017, maintaining a clean environment is definitely an increasing importance for all of us. Thus, it will be worthwhile if NPL could extend such Make in India facilities for greenhouse gases and extend and short-lived climate forcing parameters. This will help us in monitoring them more effectively as per the international standards. NPL, of course, is constantly engaged with IMD for the past several years for developing calibration facilities for meteorological parameters like temperature, pressure, relative humidity, and so on. There's an urgent need to develop calibration facility for atmospheric radiation and wind speed if not already initiated. These days there is a push for low-cost environmental sensors because they are economical and portable, but they are highly dependent on local weather. So there is a need to rigorously calibrate them, authenticate them before they are used for regulatory purposes. NPL has an important role to play in this field too. NPL is known as a timekeeper of the country, and I just met one. Right from the inception, NPL has been keeping and disseminating time for the country since the 1960s. NPL is on a mission to synchronize all the clocks in the nation to IST for securing digital infrastructure and reducing cybercrime. It is already providing IST traceability to ISRO timing centers located at Bangalore and Lucknow for their crucial NAVIC programs. All NAVIC satellite clocks are now synchronized to IST within a few nanoseconds. NPL is also developing secondary timing centers for the Department of Legal Metrology to cater to the requirements of precise time synchronization and calibration at regional level. Demand for time synchronization is rapidly growing in sectors like telecommunications, cybersecurity, cyber-physical systems, secure banking, deep space navigation, radio telescopes, and so on. And NPL has a bigger role coming its way. So as I mentioned, NPL has a mandate to be the lead agency in the country for measurement standard and calibration of equipment, with more and more emphasis being given on self-reliant India and greater participation of industry in the national mission of the country. The role of NPL has increased manifold in meeting the evolving needs of Indian industry in academia and emerging areas. As I was just mentioning to you earlier today, we are looking at the I in the CSIR to come back, and Director has just mentioned about the iConnect. So we see a lot of potential for CSIR in the future. Now, India is also taking a big leap in technology development. However, its technology leadership depends a lot on the capability of accurate and precise measurement system. So under Make in India initiative, NPL has taken a lead to the production of Indian certified reference material trademarked as Bharatiya Nirdeshik Dravya. These indigenous reference materials will help in calibrating equipment and developing Indian products as per international standards. The availability of SI traceable BNDs will harmonize the quality infrastructure in the country and equip the quality regulatory bodies of almost all the ministries. This will benefit the Indian export market, leading to R&D exports and also reduce import dependence. Indirectly, a lot of work that NPL has to do will indirectly boost the economy of the country. So you have a major role to play. So in view of the various challenges in the upcoming field, NPL has a larger role to play, as I have been mentioning. NPL should actually pitch itself much higher, as it has the best of brains, best facilities, and has an international standing as the National Metrology Institute of India. And NPL should in fact invest its time and efforts in furthering its mandate, undertaking R&D in development of measurement standards of materials to be used in the futuristic and emerging technologies, which a few of them which I have just elaborated, and leave small problems for the universities to handle. Let's not dwell into that. In fact, many of the missions that are being launched by Govt of India, I would really call upon all the NPL scientists to submit mega projects under these missions and actually showcase the capabilities this institute has. With this, I wish you all a great success in the future. Thank you and Jai Hind.